roamed Fenway Park center field with phenomenal grace and selfless aggression. He was an artist at the plate, adapting his swing, painting the green monster with opposite field hits. As a rookie, he did things no one had done before. He was crafting a career that would have led him to baseball's Hall of Fame if only the house in the Fens could have remained his home. He is center fielder Fred Lynn, and he shares his story on this edition of the Red Sox Report, brought to you by CVS Pharmacy.
When he was born, he was 22 inches long. And I looked at him in the crib there, and I said, holy moly, I said, what a moose, you know. And so that kind of stuck with me. I mean, I'm the only one that's ever called a moose as far as I know.
Born in Chicago, Fred Lynn moved to Los Angeles before he was a year old. He would spend his youth here in the LA suburb of El Monte.
You knew everybody 10 houses this way and 10 houses that way. We just did stuff outside, you know. In the summertime, he played outside until the streetlights came on.
He loved animals. He was just pink possum on his shoulder. And I said, oh my God, it's Fred the rabbit. You know, you get that thing. Oh, he says, they won't hurt you. And in fishing, he's always fishing, you know, and he just loved to fish.
But before pets and play, in the Lynn house, schoolwork came first.
Before you watch any TV after supper, I said, you look up 5 words, you learn how to spell them, and you learn the meaning, you know, and then once you learn the 5 words, then you come in and watch TV.
Before he was a teen, Fred's parents divorced, so he was raised here by his father.
We're just the 2 of us, you know, from the time he was, 12 years old. You know, and he survived in spite of my cooking.
Fred Sr., a supervisor and manager for a uniform company, arranged his schedule to spend time with his only child. Hoping to add power to young Fred's swing, he found the answer one night while watching Giants Hall of Fame slugger Willie McCovey on TV.
He puts the bat on his shoulder, and he leaves it there until the pitcher hits his top of his motion, and then he raised that thing and pulled back like the hammer of a gun. He pulled that arm back, and I said, "That's it, Fred." I said, "That's it," you know, and that's how Fred did it.
At El Monte High, Fred Jr. aspired to be a teacher and a coach. He earned a lifelong friend in teacher and activities director Fernando Ledesma.
He wasn't just a casual friend. He got to know the people he hung out with, and thus he was liked by everybody.
And Fred was liked by just about every sport he tried. In high school, he starred in basketball as a guard, and football as a receiver and defensive back, and in baseball at the plate and on the mound.
I just basically towed the rubber. I had a pretty good curveball, but I played center when I didn't pitch, and Willie Mays was, you know, the giant, and I really looked up to him. I liked everything about him. I liked the way he played. I liked their style of play. The Giants, they hit.
The McCovey-esque swing that his father taught was working. Fred pounded homers over the church beyond the right field fence at El Monte High. But football was emerging as the sport that would help him become the first in his family to go to college.
I grew up in the throes of the Coliseum, so you know, I saw O.J. and Garrett and those guys. You know, I even saw John Arnett play. So I went to those games, and then when they started saying, you know, we want you to come to SC to play football, that's it. I closed the door. I quit the recruiting process. That was all over for me.
Fred courteously responded to baseball scouts, letting them know not to draft him because he would play football at USC. But the Yankees chose him anyway in the 3rd round in the 1970 draft. They sent a scout to Lynn's house.
And he wants to, you know, give us a check, you know, and I said, he's not going to play baseball, he's going to college. And he's already signed a letter of intent for SC, and that's where he's going.
And that's where he went. In the fall of 1970, Fred was off to USC on a football scholarship that also allowed him to play baseball. During Fred Lynn's freshman year at USC, he was making headlines in baseball and earning headaches in football.
I got knocked out a few times. I remember playing this one game against UCLA, got hit, and I was looking out the ear hole. The helmet spun around, I was looking at it like this.
After leading the Trojans with a .345 batting average, Fred made the United States Pan Am team and excelled there as well. Convinced that his future was in baseball, he would have to tell USC's legendary coach, John McKay, that he was giving up his football scholarship.
God, as we call him. And so I had to go into God's office and tell him that I was not going to play football anymore. But meanwhile, my baseball coach, Rod Dato, we discussed it briefly, but I really hadn't gotten the okay. My dad's going, "Oh, man, you idiot. You better go back to Coach McKay and eat some crow and tell him you'll go back and play football. Because now I don't have a scholarship." But Coach Dato, he took care of me.
Under Coach Dato, the headlines for Lynn kept piling up. In the 1973 College World Series semifinals against Minnesota, Golden Gophers pitcher and eventual tournament MVP Dave Winfield was dominant. He shut out USC through 8 innings as Minnesota built a 7-0 lead.
They take Dave out and put him to left, bring this other guy. We score 8 runs in the bottom of the 9th to beat him. In the 3 years that I was there, we never lost a game that we had to win. Not one time.
Fred won the final 3 of the Trojans' 4 consecutive College World Series titles. Following his junior year, he was drafted by the Red Sox in the 2nd round and signed. Muzzy Field in Bristol, Connecticut was his new home with the Sox. His life in Double-A began with 2 others in a 2-bedroom house.
I'm the 3rd guy, so there's no more room. So they had the screened-in porch that was off the house. And there was like a little chase lounge there. That was where I slept. I slept on the porch. So that was my living quarters. Welcome to professional baseball.
At the end of his first season, Fred was promoted to AAA Pawtucket. With young slugger Jim Rice, they would win the AAA championship. It had been quite a year for Lynn.
Won a national title in college, played on USA team, signed, win the AAA World Series in about 2 months.
At AAA Pawtucket in 1974, Lynn hit 21 homers, and Rice won the International League's Triple Crown. Late in the season, Rice was called up to the big leagues, and Lynn soon followed.
They fell into place like they hadn't missed a beat.
Freddie was a California guy, but not so Californian. Not flashy, just went out and did what he had to do. He was more of a hard worker, just get the job done.
Marshall's on the team, Cepeda's on the team. Remember, I'm a Giant fan. McCarver, Aparicio, and of course all the Red Sox guys, Yaz and Rico and the guys. So I'm like, whew, this is pretty cool. You know, I'm 22, and but I'm not playing.
I remember one of the first times watching him hit in Fenway Park, taking BP, I think it was 9th of September in '74, and just started flipping balls for fun, they bouncing off the left field wall. From that point on, I mean, he used left field, I mean, the way the great left-handed hitters do in that ballpark.
The fact that no one was hitting, and in the BP, I'm just hitting rockets everywhere. They got tired of seeing that, so they threw me in. And did okay.
After 3 unsuccessful appearances as a pinch hitter, Lynn finally got to start September 15, 1974, in Milwaukee's County Stadium against the Brewers' Jim Slayton.
He throws a fastball, and I hit it good, but I'm a little late on it. Has home run distance, but it goes foul on the left field line. Next pitch, he throws me a curveball, and I hit it out to right. Cool. So much. I didn't get the ball, by the way. You know, it's on the road, rookie, who cares? Never saw that ball.
Lynn was in the lineup nearly every day after that, hitting .419. And even greater days were on the horizon. In 1975, Fred Lynn was the Red Sox center fielder from opening day on. He and Jim Rice were hitting as well as any two rookies in Red Sox history. They were nicknamed the Gold Dust Twins, a phrase borrowed from the trademark for Fairbanks Gold Dust washing powder. It described a pair of successful athletes and was used as early as the 1930s.
And when I see Jimmy today, he goes, "Hey, twin, how you doing?"
The Lynn twin was hitting better than he ever had in the minors.
The lighting was better. I saw the ball better. Pitchers had better control. They're throwing it around the plate more.
Lynn went on a 20-game hitting streak from May into June. 3 days after the streak ended, he had a game in Detroit that vaulted the rookie from Fenway phenom to national stardom.
I went homer, triple in 3 innings. And the triple, I hit the left center. It just missed by this much. It was a line drive, missed being a home run by less than a foot. And then the last at bat, I hit a 3-run homer.
There's a long drive to right field. That's ball. 3 homers.
It was just one of those once-in-a-lifetime nights. It just happened to be I was a rookie.
He had gone 5 for 6 with a triple, 3 homers, and 10 runs batted in. Although not on the All-Star ballot, fans wanted to see him play in the Midsummer Classic.
People had to actually write my name down. Good thing it was a short name. And that's how I get voted in. Henry Aaron's on the club. I'd watched Henry play as a kid, and now we're teammates. That's pretty cool.
It was his first of 9 consecutive All-Star selections, and although his bat got him noticed, his grace, grit, and glove were also sights to see.
He was a diver. He was a leaper. He had a tremendous arm.
The '75 Red Sox would head to the playoffs, but Rice would not. He suffered a broken hand when hit by a pitch with just 5 games remaining in the regular season. In the American League Championship Series, the Sox ended the A's run of 3 consecutive championships in a sweep. In the World Series, the Sox trailed Cincinnati's Big Red Machine 3-2. In a must-win Game 6, Fred Lynn batted in the bottom of the first with 2 out and 2 on.
And I did something I rarely do. I choked up on the bat. It was a bomb for me, and I hit like 440. Whoa, where'd that come from?
But the Reds would come back with 2 runs in the 5th on Ken Griffey's triple over Lynn that drove in 2 and changed Fenway Park's outfield walls forever.
Everybody thought I was knocked out because I didn't move, but I was fully conscious. I knew what was going on, but I lost all feeling from the waist down. And so I thought I broke my back. I was afraid if I moved, I'd do something really bad.
That's when Yawkey ordered that the center field fence be padded.
Sore, but still in the game, Lynn had a chance to win it with the bases loaded in the bottom of the 9th.
George Foster makes the throw of his career and throws Denny Doyle out the plate. If he'd hit that ball 20 feet further, he gets the RBI in the bottom of the 9th to win the game.
Still tied in the bottom of the 12th, Lynn and Carlton Fisk watched from the on-deck circle as Pat Darcy warmed up for his 3rd inning of action.
I said, Freddie, I'm going to hit one off the wall, drive me in.
There it goes, the long drive. If it stays fair, home run.
Pudge, what happened to the part where I knock you in? Did you forget about that? I had a perfect view of it. You know, it was going so quickly, it didn't have a chance to go foul. It just bam, and hits the pole, boom. And then he jumps up, and as he's jumping, I'm jumping too, because I'm happy I don't have to hit again.
But the euphoria didn't last long. The very next night, Cincinnati would score in the top of the 9th to claim a 1-run victory and the World Series title.
I'd never lost a game that I was supposed to win. So that was a first for me. The disappointment of losing, I had not experienced it ever. The only saving grace is that a lot of our guys were young, so we just arrogantly thought we'll just be back every year.
Dwight Evans, Fred Lynn, Jim Rice, and Yaz splitting left field and Rice DHing. In my lifetime, it was by far the best outfield I've ever seen.
Fred Lynn didn't win the series, but he did win his first of 4 Gold Gloves, and he became the first in history to win the Rookie of the Year award and the league's most valuable player.
Rookie of the Year was I don't remember getting a phone call. I think I just read about it. MVP, I was going cross country, going home in a car. Saw it on TV. They couldn't even get hold of me to tell me.
Although his first name on his MVP award is misspelled, there is no second E in Frederick, the award brings family pride.
I knew he was good, but I didn't think he was that good. I still can't believe it to this day. I still can't believe it.
The 1976 season would not be so kind, as Lynn went from fan favorite to a target of fans' anger, even in his home ballpark. When the 1976 season dawned, the Players Union, led by attorney Marvin Miller, was battling in court for each player's right to become a free agent at the end of his contract. Until then, a team held a player's rights year after year if the team so chose. Agent Jerry Kapstein advised his clients, Fred Lynn, Carlton Fisk, and Rick Burleson, not to sign their contracts.
We were betting on free agency happening through the court system. We didn't sign our contracts, and we got renewed at whatever we made the year before, which for me was like 20 grand. So that's what you got. So we got vilified a little bit in our home ballpark, which is very unique for all three of us.
They were, hurling all kinds of verbal abuse at us.
That was tough. It was probably the toughest year I ever had to go through.
When the Players Union prevailed, free agency was born. Lynn, Burleson, and Fisk were signed by the Sox to lucrative 5-year deals. But there were fractured relationships between their agent, Kapstein, and the Sox front office, including Haywood Sullivan, who would become one of the club's owners. Things were better at home, however. Fred and his first wife had 2 children. Jason, who was born in 1978, lives in Southern California, and daughter Jennifer, born a year later, lives in Fort Smith, Arkansas. They have made Fred quite a proud father and grandfather. Back at Fenway, 1978 was a roller coaster season. The banged-up Sox lost a 10-game lead, then got healthy to win their final 8 games, earning a tie for first place and a 1-game tiebreaker against the Yankees. Most remember that day for Bucky Dent's unlikely 3-run homer.
It's not Bucky Dent. It's Lou Piniella playing right instead of Reggie. I come up in, I think, in the 4th. 2 guys on, 2 outs. And I always should give it the other way, and I hook a ball into the corner.
Lou Piniella, playing right field, told me later that he knew Guidry's fastball wasn't what it was earlier in the game. I mean, he's thrown a lot of innings for a guy who weighed about 150 pounds. Mm-hmm. So Piniella took 8 steps towards the right field corner, and before the ball was delivered.
He's so far out of position, I can't tell you. He runs it down. If that goes in, we get 2 more runs. It's 4-0. Chances are Guidry's out of the game, and we're into their middle relief, and it's over. It's over.
Piniella would save another run by barely stopping a ball that he'd lost in the sun. The Yankees went on to win 5-4. The entire season decided by just 1 run.
He makes the catch, and the Yankees have won the division.
After adding 10 pounds of muscle in the offseason, the '79 campaign was Fred Lynn's best at the plate. He had career highs in homers with 39 and runs batted in with 122. Best of all, he won the league batting crown, hitting .333. Following the 1980 season, animosity between Kapstein and Haywood Sullivan surfaced once more. Lynn, Fisk, and Burleson, with their 5-year deals expiring, were again on the verge of becoming free agents.
Why would I want to leave? I love my teammates here. I love playing here. I don't want to leave, but they had other plans, so that's the way it worked out.
In the end, it was a result of 5 or 6 years of polarization between Haywood and Jeremy.
My agent and the California Angels agreed to a trade with the Red Sox, and I was going to sign a 5-year deal. So basically I circumvented free agency in the whole process because Gene Autry was the owner of the California Angels. You know, he had some dough and he liked to spend it and he wanted to win.
Burleson was also traded to the Angels, and Fisk would sign with the White Sox. None wanted to leave, but at least one person was happy.
I was in heaven. I thought, well, boy, this is great. I was able to just about hit, not all the home games, but a good percentage of the home games, thanks to Fred, because there was always a couple of ducats for me at the window, you know.
Fred Lynn's shining moment as a California Angel came in 1983. Facing the Giants' Atlee Hammaker, he hit the first grand slam in All-Star game history.
I know he's got somebody's break him on, he did, and I hit it out. And I actually displayed a little bit of emotion, which I never did. I kind of put my fist as a rounding first, because I knew we were going to win the game. Yay! It's 7-1, and we go on to win 13-3, and then the American League went on a big run after that.
In 1984, a free agent again, Fred Lynn became a Baltimore Oriole.
Curveball, there's a long high drive, deep to right center field. Back is Brunansky. It's all over. A home run for Fred Lynn, and the Orioles have won it.
In '85, Lynn made history again, becoming the only major leaguer to homer in the bottom of the ninth on 3 consecutive days. The first 2 of those homers resulted in walk-off wins. The following season, they were more good times. He was beloved in Baltimore, and he had found the love of his life.
Highlight of this season for me was when my wife, Natalie, and we got married after the season at our home in Baltimore in October.
In a late-season pennant push, the Tigers traded for Lynn in 1988, but finished 1 game behind the Red Sox. Lynn would hit his 300th homer as a Tiger. A free agent again in 1990, he signed with the San Diego Padres. After that season, he retired.
My kids were in high school. God, I'd like to see them play some sports, like to do some stuff with them. And then it just was this time.
Natalie, a television executive, helped Fred get into TV, and he broadcast baseball for nearly a decade. With broadcasting behind him, the Lynns spent time together fishing, playing golf, tennis, and gardening. And since both are animal lovers, they actively support a charity named FACE. FACE supports financial assistance to pet owners for emergency care of their animals that otherwise would have been put to sleep. With the Lynn's help, FACE has saved more than 1,000 pets. On deck, accolades for one of Fenway's finest as the Red Sox Report, presented by CVS Pharmacy, continues. Over the course of his career, Fred Lynn hit .347 at Fenway Park, earning him induction into the Red Sox Hall of Fame in 2002.
People have asked me who I thought was the best outfielder I ever played with, and I said, you should have seen Freddie Lynn play when he wasn't hurt. Best outfielder I ever saw.
But that .347 lifetime average at Fenway raises the question, what if Fred Lynn had played his entire career with Fenway as his home park?
Freddie Lynn stays in Fenway Park, he's in the Hall of Fame, no question.
But Fred Lynn's not in the Hall of Fame today because he got traded.
Beloved in New England and beyond, Fred Lynn is a Hall of Famer to those who know him best.
I've covered a lot of really good people, but he's pretty close to the top of the list.
And I think that's the thing that I hear the most. It's not what a great player, it was what a classy player, what a great guy.
I'm very proud of him as a human being. I think we did okay.